If self-flagellation had a visual representation, it would take the form of the cinematic abomination known as Badland Hunters. Mercifully, I have trudged through the mire of this celluloid swamp so that you, valued viewers, don't have to sully your eyes or torture your intellect with what passes off as a film in this grotesque excuse for storytelling. Here's a movie that not only fails in creating a coherent narrative, but goes the extra mile to ensure that every second defies logic with the bravado of a bull in a china shop. Let's start with what I can only describe as an attempt at plot. I might as well be watching paint dry on the ruins of the Hollywood sign. The plot, if we can stoop low enough to call this slapped together series of shots that revolves around a group of treasure hunters who stumble upon a cursed artifact in the so-called Badlands. Oh, the horror. And I'm not just talking about the supposed curse. And let's talk about the actors, or as I prefer to call them, the walking mannequins sporting as much charisma as a wet mop. The lead, Johnny Slick, might have the chiseled jawline of a Greek god, but he exhibits the emotional range of a teaspoon. There was a moment, a scene where he's meant to convey anguish. All I saw was constipation. I can't comprehend how his performance regressed beyond the already abysmal bar set by daytime soap operas. Cinematography? Don't get me started. Apparently, this film's director of photography graduated from the Instagram School of Filmmaking with a major in novelty filter and a minor in random lens flare. There's a sequence where our heroes are chased by what I assume are supposed to be indigenous guardians of the cursed artifact. The scene is lit like a nightclub rave, missing only the thumping beats of a low-tier EDM playlist. The special effects appear to be less convincing than a politician's promise, and that chase scene I mentioned? The green screen is so apparent I found myself nostalgic for the days of rear projection in old Hitchcock films. At least then, they knew they were faking it and had a certain charm about it. There's nothing endearing about poorly rendered CGI cobras hissing at characters clearly looking at anything but the so-called threat in front of them. Let's mull over the script, which is an insult, even to the tree, that was mindlessly slaughtered for the paper this drivel was printed on. Dialogue ricocheted from one cliché to another, as if desperately seeking asylum in profundity, yet finding no refuge. Each word uttered by the characters contributed further to the degradation of the English language, so much so that Shakespeare himself might just rise from his grave to rewrite it all. The climax, oh, the humanity. The very idea that this sequence of events was meant to keep me on the edge of my seat is laughable. A climactic battle set against a CGI sunset so fake, it makes the Teletubbies' idyllic home seem like a documentary on the English countryside. Do we dive into the director's use of, how should I put this delicately, auditory excrement? Every choice made on the soundtrack was the equivalent of fingers scraping across a chalkboard with background ambience provided by dying cats. It complemented the film in the same way vinegar complements milk. In conclusion, Badland Hunters is a testament to the decay of modern cinema, a Frankenstein's monster of tropes stitched together with the precision of a toddler wielding a crayon. In good conscience, I cannot recommend this movie to anyone, not even my worst enemy. If the purpose of cinema is to evoke emotion, then consider this successful, as it left me with a palpable sense of doom for the future of filmmaking and an intense yearning for a time machine. A time machine to avert the catastrophic birth of this insipid motion picture steaming pile that dares call itself art. Remember, folks, just because it's shot in widescreen and thrown into theaters doesn't mean it can't be an outright affront to the medium. Thank you, and good night. I'll seek solace in the warm embrace of films with substance, where my passion for cinema can be reignited and my faith in the craft restored.